anybody that is interested in what I'm doing, you're really going to be interested in the Elder Emo Hours, especially if you're like me and you're an Elder Emo and you like pop punk and, the early 2000s nostalgia type of stuff. They do a podcast, and I think it's just now ramped up. I think the first episode comes out this week. And so they are getting, what I'm doing is reviewing small time artists and giving them a chance to get heard by some more people. They are doing the same thing, but they're doing it in interview podcast style. So together we are unstoppable. All right, we are going to start getting into this now. So I will say it again before we start the first song. What we're doing here today is my name is Devin, if you can't tell by my handle. I'm an independent musician. My artist name is Part-Time Poet, and I've been an independent musician for 20 years. I started home recording about a little over 3 years ago, and I've learned a lot from producing and mixing, from being able to record myself. And so I've picked up some tricks. I'm still learning every single day. Every time I record a song, I learn something new. So I encourage everybody to continue learning. But getting started, I watched a lot of YouTube videos and tutorials on just what to do. And so if you're really, really new, that's a great place to start. And finding people like me who maybe will share some stuff with you. But so from a mixing perspective, I can give some feedback on mixes, on things that I've learned. From a songwriting perspective, I've been writing songs for a very, very long time. I think I'm pretty good at it. And I'm also, I play a few instruments, but I'm mainly a rhythm guitarist. And so anyways, that's a little bit about me. What I'm doing here is listening to independent musicians like myself and giving a little bit of feedback. So I can already tell my mouth's a little bit dry. I hear some smacking. Anyways, so the three things that I listen for when I'm listening, and then I'm going to do a review. Songwriting. So we're going to I'm going to be listening to lyrics, and the song, the way that the song is set up. I'm going to listen to the instrumentation, how the instruments play together, and then we're going to be listening to also the mix, just the production quality of the song, and try to be a little bit picky and give some feedback. So this isn't everything sounds great and everything is perfect. It's very rare that that's the case, but it's also not a bashing moment of you suck and you don't need to do this anymore. It is simply, let's give it a listen and see what we can work on. So let's start with I Forgot People Like Choruses by Miguel Cafe. Julian's here. Hey, bud.
It's funny how we hang on the words of the dead, like it's all we got left. And memories fade day by day. Who will remember me? And silly as it seems, I've got much better things to do than fade away. And silly as it seems, I've got much better things I'm not doing. funny how.
All right, so that is I Forgot People Like Choruses by Miguel Cafe. So starting out, that is a song that I like the vibe of. So I was listening to the song. I like the song. I feel like I could hear the vocals well enough to it felt good. But yeah, this is a great example of, somebody that probably, I don't want to speak for you, but probably doesn't have a lot of experience recording and producing. And that's okay, because we're all somewhere different on our journey of learning this craft. So there's a lot of potential when the song itself still makes me feel good. There's a lot of things there. The vocals were heavy reverbed. It sounded like there was a double thrown in there that was getting off time. The drums, it just, like somebody said, it sounded very roomy, which just means that, little things like how you mic up a drum set and record it. All these things have so much to do with the quality that you get. So there's a lot of room to work on getting a better produced song out of this. But if you listen to that song, I think y'all would agree with me. It was still fun to listen to. Like, I would think that. So a lot of stuff to work on the production side of things. But I said this in a video within the last couple of days of, if the song is good, it doesn't matter if the mix is not. The song will come out and people will listen to it. There is a line there. You gotta get it up to where people want to listen, but it doesn't have to be a perfect mix if it's a good song. That's just a great example of, I still enjoy listening to that. I hope y'all did too. But just continue to learn and get better at setting up your microphones, checking your gain levels as you are recording. So I think with those drums, like, they stood out the most, because it just sounded like a big jumbled mess where, it's probably not the best mic setup. Probably just wasn't checking gain input in the recording process. So there's a lot of things there, but vibes were cool. So I have nothing against it. Y'all just keep in mind, like, that we're all somewhere different in our recording journey. So yeah, this is let's jump into Chanodah's new song, Butterflies, which I don't think I've heard this one yet. So let's do it. Now, I'll warn you, Chanodah has he's better than I am for sure, so you are gonna like this. All right, so let me tell you what I like about that song. It's that whole kind of, I felt like that could be put in that genre of kind of the lo-fi stuff, but it really didn't fit that exactly to me. But Chanodah, what you did, I think, is amazing. Is you find the right space for every instrument that you're putting into your mix, and guys, it's so important. you know, a song can get muddy very quickly if you are not correctly spacing things. So you only have so much space to work with. But in that song, especially if you're listening with headphones, I don't know how this sounds directly out of your phone, but there was movement, like movement happening in the left ear, movement happening in the right ear. There was, probably some automation going on, or just whatever type of loop or whatever you were using, where there was motion almost pulling forward and pushing back. And so you had space going on from different directions, not only left and right, but also like forward and back. And that mixing effort probably was not something you did in 5 minutes. But yeah, good use of reverb, good use of motion, good use of finding space for everything. And then, it just sounds great. Very relaxing, very easy to listen to. Right now I'm in an upbeat mood. But that was still really fun to like relax and chill with. If it sounds good, then it's good. That can be a cop out sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's true. You can do there's 1,000 different ways of mixing and 1,000 different ways of producing. At the end of the day, if it sounds good, it's good. People are going to like it. You can always get better, but none of us are going to do it the same way. None of us are going to be perfect. It's important to remember that. If your song sounds good, it's good. All right, Knucklebutt says, are we hearing the audio straight for the computer or secondhand through speakers? So you are hearing it from the computer out to my mixing board, which is where it meets my microphone. Then it's going from my mixing board to my interface, which is going to an iRig, which is going to my phone. So short answer is it's coming straight from the computer. Let's move forward. I like to get to as many people as I can. I do cap my lives at 2 hours, so that I'm not spending my whole weekend down here in the basement. So we're going to move quickly. We're not going to listen to the entirety of every song, so that we can get to as many as we can. So here is Benji with a song called Magazine Cowboy.
Should I just believe what I think is me? Can't get better than my oldest friend. Am I my own fault? Am I my own fault? Pickens choose professions round you.
Okay, I'm just going to say right off the bat, I think we all agree that is the epitome of sort of the indie folk stuff that goes on a movie, stuff that goes on a television show. Just needs, just like that first song we listened to, just needs some more production quality. So take a song like that and you record it the right way, and you produce it the right way, and you mix it, and you just get that one extra thing or that two extra things, and that song right there could be amazing. I could easily hear that in a movie or a television show. So the guitars, or the guitar, was super simple, but that's all you needed in a song like that. It just sounded like, you know, the setup of the microphone and recording that may not have been the best. So what do? You go to YouTube or you go to Google and you learn, you know, mic techniques for acoustic guitar, and you try different things. A lot of room noise. You know, this is stuff that is pretty simple. And once you get it and you play around with stuff, you're going to find your technique and what works best for you. And you're going to be able to produce song after song after song. You take something like that and you get the mix right. You get the two vocals working together a little bit more, and you add a little bit of vocal tuning to it, and you add the right reverb so everything sounds like it's in the same space. You can add some ambiance to that song and add like a tape effect, and you go the lo-fi route, and maybe you throw in some, you know, very basic electronic drums on top of it, or you go with, there's 1,000 different things you can do with a song like that. So for me, it's another one that needs a lot of work, but you're not that far away. You've got something, just need to keep learning and keep getting better at the other parts. Yeah. So we've got the, so Julian says, definitely send this for sync licensing. Yeah, indie type films would pick it up. Really like the slide at the end of the guitar part. Yep. Knucklebutt says this is, I can't say Knucklebutt without cracking up, but I think that's the point. This is the type of music I'm starting to get into recently. Of grid, not pitch corrected. I don't know what you mean. Or I think you're saying you like it imperfect. And I'm not suggesting it needs to be perfect. I'm just talking about vocal tuning a little bit. You know, some compression just to relax it a little bit would be nice too. Wouldn't want to be too polished though, then the vibe is lost. Absolutely agree. There's a line, obviously, right? If your style of music is not meant to be overproduced, that's fine. But there is a production quality, sort of, you've got to get to some point. And I don't know how to define what that point is, but I think we all know it when we hear it. So that's all I mean. Don't let anybody, one person's opinion, tell you what is the right way, because everybody will have their own opinion. All right, Miramar Drive. I think I'm saying that right. Miramar. I'm from Alabama, so if I mispronounce things, I'll just blame it on that. But this is a song called Try, so let's listen and see how it sounds.
I'm sorry that I didn't take care of my demons in the bright sunlight.
I have a very strong feeling I'm going to love this.
At least I tried. I hope that there will come a day when all is past and both my eyes are wide. Oh no, I've tried. Tell everyone you find.
Miramar Drive with Try. Yeah, I really like that. I felt like it was going to be a little bit more upbeat than it ended up being, because it definitely has pop punk vibes to it. But even Green Day had some slower burns. So I like the instrumentation. I like the song. I like the mix. As a guitarist, I wanted a little bit more of that, and I felt like as the chorus came in, adding some more harmonies and maybe adding another guitar in there to just bring it up without bringing up the volume too much. You could just fill up some more of the space, and it'll give it a bigger fill. So it really differentiates itself as the chorus from the verses. But yeah, like that's, again, I'm being picky. I think, just throwing a little bit of polish on there with some more, space filling would do the trick, and it would just make that chorus stand out a little bit more than it did to me. But I like the song. I feel like you're probably going to have some other things that I need to listen to, because I can hear some pop punk influences happening. All right, so next up is Shock Doctrine with the Darien Scheme demo mix. So this is still in demo. So I feel like the drums could come up a little bit. The kick is really present. I actually feel like the kick is outweighing a lot of things right now. It's kind of making everything else feel pushed back. I like the harmonies. All right, y'all are gonna have to go listen to Shock Doctrine to hear the rest of it. Yeah, if that is in like Julian said, if that's a demo, we're excited to hear the end product, because that is a really cool song. I think we were all jamming out to it, and somebody can take that and mix it and get everything to fit the right way, and that's going to be an incredible song. So just in demo phase, it's already really good. Love the vocals. Absolutely love the vocals. The great use of harmonies. Again, so, those harmonies that came in and were used a little bit sparingly, but they were used at the right moments, so that it just builds around the main vocal and lifts it up for those lyrics that need to be pushed out a little bit more. I just felt like the kick was sitting too far up front, and so the rest of the drum kit got pushed back. Really, everything felt a little pushed back, and I think it's just because the kick was too far forward, and it was really taking a lot of my attention. But I'm digging it. Yeah, Shock Doctrine is the name of the band. The song is The Darien Scheme. Everybody's listening environment is going to be a little bit different. So things that I'm hearing, this is just my opinion. These are just the things I'm hearing in my listening environment. These are $100 headphones going through a mixing board that's going to add a little bit of analog feel to it. So it's not like I'm sitting in a professional recording studio on amazing speakers. I'm also not listening to it on my phone. I'm not listening to it with earbuds. Like, it's going to sound a little bit different on every listening environment. I'm just letting you know what I hear. I feel like my setup is a pretty good benchmark for being able to hear enough without getting too detailed, things that you would never hear on playing it through your phone. So I feel like it's a good place to be. But guys, I'm just giving my opinions. You can take my opinion and $7 and buy a gallon of gas right now. That's not even funny. Well, let's see together what Julian is working on. So he's in this band called The Nameless when he's not busy hanging out with me. I guess every now and then he's like in this other band. It's cool. So they're working on a song and it's called Back in Time. So we are all listening to it for the first time together on Devin Song Reviews. Let's listen. Y'all keep in mind, Julian's like really good at producing and like actually has a studio. It's a little unfair. Yeah, anybody count the amount of references? There's no telling. I'm gonna need the lyrics to that. Obviously fantastic. We understand it's in the demo phase, so mix notes. I'm not gonna give you mix notes, Julian. The biggest problem with this song, I'll tell you, it sticks out like a sore thumb, is I'm not playing guitar on it. So, yeah. There's that. Yeah, I would say though, and I know you're going to play around with it. I did not like the distortion on the guitar that was there. But that's definitely something I would change if you're going to ask my opinion. But yeah, I could just replace the whole guitar and not have to worry about changing any distortion. All right. Yeah, a lot of people like that. So, y'all, if you don't know Julian already, this guy is one of the most humble artists that you will ever meet. He is fantastic. He has a huge heart, loves everybody he comes in contact with, and is doing big things and does not act like it. So, man, just appreciate you, Julian. One of the people that I've met this last year that made me want to keep making music. System Reborn said, I like the delay effect. Yep. That's a production skill. That Julian is, he knows what he's doing, y'all. Elder Emo Hours, the lyrics. Yep. I know a lot of people are going to talk about those lyrics. Playing on our nostalgia. That's just not even fair. This is what's great about this, y'all. You didn't know that tuning in today, you're going to get to hear something that nobody else has gotten to hear yet. You heard it here first on Devin Song Reviews live. I love when rap. I said rap. Yeah, it's rap and rock combined. It's the genre is now called rap. Yeah, Julian likes to do that sort of stuff too. All right, let's keep it moving. So this is Never Know by NKWM. I don't know what that stands for. While I'm playing this song, it's a short one. It's only 1 minute and 22. I'm going to throw this question out there, and I want you to give me your best answer. A lot of people have been submitting music, and it seems like there is a common thread or theme of band names or song titles that just like we just took all the vowels out, and I have no idea what I'm reading half the time. And I don't mean anything negative here, but I don't know what NKWM is. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Discuss it while we listen to this song called Never Know. That's good.
My face in the mirror, recognize it's not getting clear. My faith in myself is constantly changing. Maybe I need some help.
Wow, I'm definitely invested in this. I like this.
I'm a bottle top. I'm about to explode. I don't give a fuck. Time going faster. Life is too short to not know what I am after. Will I ever be who I wanna be? Will I ever go where I wanna go? I guess we'll never know.
Okay, I really like that. As an elder emo, I approve. Wondering, I'm curious as to why we're only doing 1 minute 22 on that song. Just maybe a thing where you just like, that's just what I wanted to do, and that's fine. But I feel like you could have incorporated some more stuff and kept it going. I feel like the vocals were cutting through a bit much on the high end. And that the doubled vocal I guess I would have liked to see that be more of a harmony, I guess. But I'm just, again, being picky. I'm digging it. Yeah, Julian said something, about a modern day, the scene aesthetic. And that's one of the things, that's where it comes from, where I think, like, if it's two people singing, I don't know if that's just you singing both, which is probably the case. But I felt like it just needed a little bit of a different voice to go with it, and it would have just been absolutely stellar. Do more of that, please. I feel like if you're not self-producing, if you're not doing all this yourself, or if you are and you would like to work with somebody, I'm here. I would love to get my hands on that and see what we could do. So hit me up if you would like to do something. So NKWM is my initials. Stands for Nobody Knows What Matters. Okay, so my outlook on this is, unfortunately, that's not a memorable name. That's my problem with it. I'm not dissing anybody that does it. I've just seen a lot of it, and I'm like, why is this so popular? Because it's hard for me to remember. There are band names and song titles that, from 800 submissions of music, I haven't listened to all of them, but when there's a cool band name or song title that stands out, I've probably listened to those more often than not. So just something to chew on, I guess. Oh my God, Connor. Skydrifter, pronounced Skydrifter. Oh, that was fun last week. Yeah, we had a Skydrifter was one of those that, but yeah, I can kind of tell how to pronounce that, All right, so but you've got an EP coming out on the 29th. All self-produced. Okay, so yeah, let me know when that's dropping, which is a great time to talk about. If anybody would like to, if you got some music coming out, and you want me to review it before it is released, reach out to me and let me know, and I would be happy to do that and give you a couple more resources to help you launch a new release. I'm learning that I'm not supposed to be talking about, that thing that's in my profile that can take you to other things. Apparently that's a no-no to talk about that now. But in my bio, you will at the very bottom find a way to email me. That is the best way to communicate. I had a form in there, and I thought the form was there, and I was like, why is nobody submitting anything to it? Apparently it wasn't working. So for now, just go hit that email link, contact me, and I will get back with you, and we will work something out. But let's listen to Wishing Well by System Reborn.
Through my wish away.
Okay. That is System Reborn with Wishing Well. And they're here in the chat today. So I'll give you my feedback here. So I like the vibe of it. This isn't typically what I listen to just on a daily basis, but I do enjoy that. And I think you used, some of the auto-tune features, as an effect, and you did that pretty well. The rap, I guess you would call it, part was really fun. I like that. The lyrics themselves were still audible, and I could still keep up with it. I guess when the female vocal, if that was the hook or whatever that was, one of the things that I noticed about that was the lyrics didn't quite fit the song, in that some of those notes were being held out a long time. And so, I talk about this a lot, where it's either an issue where the tempo needs to be sped up, or you need to take a harder look at the lyrics, and just not have that the long note holdouts as much as was happening there. The electronic drums were good, but I feel like from a dynamic standpoint, nothing really changed up too much throughout the song. So yeah, just a couple of things to work on. Just be very aware of dynamics. Give the song movement, and I think you could have sped that up a little bit, and it would have just sat a little bit more comfortably. But you are on your way, and I did like that. Some people may want that consistency. I'm just big on having dynamics. I want the song to move, to keep me interested. So that's just the idea of, if you want a more general pool of people to listen, you kind of do have to follow some of those principles of the things that make the majority of people want to listen. So at the end of the day, you could have your niche group of fans and listeners and community that love everything exactly the way you have it. And so you shouldn't change up a whole bunch of what you're doing just to appease the masses. But again, like, a lot of what I'm giving is my opinion, but it's also based on just common principles so that more people would enjoy it. If it's not just a stylistic thing that you're going for, these are just some principles that you could use on your next mix. Yeah, so this is MC Algorhythm with a song called Inspiration. In parentheses, please stand up. I'm going to remain sitting down for this one, because I'm a rebel. I hope that's okay. You had a bot write the lyrics for it?
Like I made a bad decision. We got a big bad wolf in your vision. I don't speak up. Tell me what you're made of. I'm bootbox can change the world, you see. I got a hold on me. If you procure, then you set me free. White America, little Eric just look like me. Say, fuck everybody but me. Call me when the lights shut off and it's hard to find, but I'll say you're a fantasy, you're the only one. How? The pills in my mind. Nerdy girls, you are incredible, you are incredible, you ain't blind. I gotta tell you it's all wrong. You seem to understand that this right here for any season. Tell me what I'm feeling. People tell me what you're made of. My words may not convey just what I'm used to. Wish that I gotta go hard on a bit. You can get it, never gonna get rich. But you're never gonna get rich. No, you're never gonna get rich. I got a born again lust for the community. A stepfather factory still got me in the crew, and how could a person up and away Hop in, sex extortion, terror born from disdain. I had a little money and moves out the havoc and anarchy. You put the drop in the kid, now I gotta say help me out my way. I remember when me and my homies on the grind trying to find my way. Sigh before we die like the way. B-boys to the way that you bag cans got me bothered and hot. She got that great plot. Cheers to the R a dot. Not gonna get it, never gonna get it. I blow your whole spot. I blow your whole spot. The world is ours, that's why I can't hold any.
All right. MC Algorhythm with inspiration. And so apparently you had an AI write the lyrics to that, which I'm guessing you had to do a little bit of work to get them to fit right. But here's a great example of, like, I was trying my best to tune into what the lyrics were saying. So I caught the majority of it. I'd have to listen to it a couple more times to really hone in more. But melody is so important. Sometimes the lyrics don't matter as much as having a good melody. So you could have apparently a robot write your lyrics and still have a good melody to go on good instrumentation, and it can be a good song. Just like that just happened there. So yeah, that was a fun listen. I enjoyed that. I felt like for some feedback that the main vocal I felt like it didn't sit too well with the rest of the instruments. It sounded like everything else was, except for the bass, was in one room. And then the bass was pretty heavy going for that, but I think there's some low end that just made it a little bit muddy and could come down a little bit. And then try to get the vocal to sit back some. And you can do this with some reverb techniques. It kind of didn't sound like it was in the same room with the rest of the instruments, and adding some reverb to that may have fixed that. But I like that a lot. Half Hollow with Spoken Medium. Hey, Josh.
I no longer wish to paint, so I'll just rip this canvas until it bears the image I see. Creation seems to bring me nothing in hell. Now only voice me, I can paint a picture with these words, and once again make the ugly beautiful. But no, I'm sick of beautiful, cast the easel to the ground and demand answers from the heat. How do I pull someone from the depths of their own mind? Why must the ones I love suffer addiction? Why must they believe they're a monster? What makes someone harm another
right, I'm going to go ahead and stop it there because everybody's loving it. And so part of my job is I have to force you to seek this out a little bit, because that is how you support independent musician. It's not just listening to it here, but going and finding this on Spotify and following them on TikTok and all the different things. So I got to tease you a little bit and then take it away. So, that was really cool. Has a very different vibe than pretty much everything we've listened to today. I really like it. I like the message of the song. The emotion in the vocals came through very well, and they still stayed pretty clean, which is a really hard thing to do. When a second one came in, it did muddy things up, so be careful on the reverb. Careful when you bring in other vocals. I would have had the main vocal a little bit different than that, but I'm not even going to get into that because I really like the way it was done. I think I would have had it a little bit more up front, a little drier than it was, but I like the way it was done anyways. The guitar, though, I'm going to pick on you on the guitar, the rhythm guitar, a little bit. I am not a big fan of the distortion that was used on that because of the muddiness. So either play around with some different tones to clean that up, because it just didn't seem like it fit. Like, it didn't have as much crunch. It had a lot of the fuzzy, distorted sound to it. I wanted to hear the crunch, like, give me some of that lower gain crunch sound to go with it. I feel like it just brought in a lot of muddiness and in the distortion. So maybe just EQ with a high pass filter after the distortion is on there, if you like the tone and you want to stick with it. But those are the couple of things that I would have done a little bit different. But that was really cool. That is Half Hollow with Spoken Medium. So Better on the Inside. It's early June and the sun is bright. Some of the timing is a little bit off. But that's okay. I'm liking it. Okay, so Better on the Inside with It's Early June and the Sun is Bright. Another great example of a really cool vibe song that just needs some other work. Recording wise, getting things in time is super important. So if you're not recording with a click track, you've got to do that. Get everything on the same page, and I feel like that song, just from doing that, increases in quality right away. The The instrumentation wasn't perfect. There was some inconsistencies, but those are things that can be worked on as well. Production-wise, or the mixing wasn't really all that bad either. But there are some, like we talked about before, there's some reverb issues where things don't sound cohesive with each other. And so that is a tactic that you may want to do some research on and try to learn how to do that. I'm not sure how that was recorded. I'd be interested in what the recording techniques were there, but, I always say that I'm going to kind of comment on 3 different things, and that is the songwriting, the instrumentation, and the mixing. So for me, the song was right. The instrumentation is almost there, and the mixing is not too far off. So learn to record with the click track, make sure everything is cohesive and together, and a song like that would be even better than it already is. Keeping on the idea of potential. So if you're an independent musician and you've got some work to do, that's okay, because we're all on that journey of just trying to get better and release our music. So don't lose the passion you have for doing what you're doing. Just continue to get better at it, and don't give up on it. Learn as much as you can and just try to get better a little bit every time you do it, and you'll get there. But you should never give up. Everybody has potential. All right, this is Emri, E-M-R-I, with a song called Deleted Scene.
So long to see, and where you go, don't make any enemies, for you will stay away with me, in my head all lost, all of our memories, bittersweet.
Okay, so another one that got capped at 1:34. I wanted more than that, so how dare you? Okay, so listen, really great, very simple. Sometimes simple is the best way, but here's what you've got to pay attention to when things are simple as that was. There is still room to build space for the listener. And I would challenge you to experiment a little bit with that. So out of the 3 things that we're listening to, instrumentation sounds really good. The song itself is really good. The mix is pretty good. But to take the next step, let's start creating space. Let's start bringing in very basic elements just to add something to the space. I reviewed one recently where a song like that had, 2 acoustic guitars that were panned pretty hard left and right, which created a lot of space in the middle. And then they did a great job of bringing in some other elements just to fill in the space and make it feel bigger. So what I really like about that is I feel like I'm just sitting in the room listening to you. But if you want to take it to the next level, really play around with bringing in some things and making it feel bigger than it actually is. So, but really cool. I'm kind of mad that it ended at 1.5 minutes. Okay, so let's talk about timing and recording. If you're working with somebody and they just don't have good timing, they need to spend some time working on that as a musician. So we all have skills and we all have strengths at different instruments. But one of the things that we all need to work on if you're going to be recording music is you have to learn how to play with a metronome to ultimately be able to play with a click track in the recording environment. So if you don't have any sense of timing, that's just something that you need to work on. You know, you can be if you're a guitarist that does not have good timing, then you need to work on your timing because it's required. Especially coming from a rhythm guitarist, like that's something that I feel like I exceed pretty well at. Is I just have like a natural metronome because I practiced with it so much, and it's not something that you learn overnight. But that would be my suggestion: is spend a lot of time practicing with a click track or with a metronome, so that when you go into the recording environment, you're not spending a whole lot of time or wasting a lot of time trying to get the timing right. All right, we got not really a Kool-Aid fan, but salted caramel ice cream. That's fair. The Never After, the song had all, yeah. So that was a little bit of Little Bird by the Never After. That's a good song. Then we got cherry Kool-Aid and chocolate ice cream. And Connor agrees 100%. Yeah, I don't know how better to answer that, Connor. I've worked with people who don't have good timing. There's only so much you can do. It's really a necessary skill as a musician to have good timing, because I talk a lot about the difference between being good at your instrument and having talent with your instrument and having talent as a musician. And people tend to get these mixed up. It's not one and the same. There are two different parts of it. You can be good at your instrument and not be a good musician. Being a good musician is understanding when to play, when not to play, timing, knowing how to record. If you're a session guitarist, you better know how to record well. You know, you should be able to, have good timing. You should be able to understand how to get a good recording. So there's a big difference in being a musician and an instrumentalist. They're not one and the same. I can't shred like some guitarists out there. What I do have is strength as a musician. I have good timing and I can work well with others. I can do session work really, really well. And ultimately, that's what I want to do. So, big difference. All right, I'm trying to have a stellar EP release day on April 29th. What can I do to maximize my audience? So I do want you to reach out to me. Shoot me an email like we talked about, and I will give you some information on how to do that. It's tough, but you might as well give it a shot. So the more that people know that your music is coming out, the better you're going to be. So the more a notice you can give them, the more likely they are to listen on day one. Some teasing that you can throw out there with some videos of parts of the song. What I did with one of my releases was talk about what the song is about. So letting people see the inside of the songwriting process and what the lyrics meant to me. Building your audience and interacting with people that are going to interact with you when your music goes live. Finding people like me to do music reviews so you can kind of put those out as content for yourself when something comes out. You can do the same with, submitting your music to blogs and local newspapers. There's a ton of things that you can do. It's going to depend on what your ultimate goal is. I've been trying the TikToks, Insta, Facebook, pitching songs to playlists, promoting pre-saves. Yeah, you guys, I'm so sorry. Yes, podcasts are a really good thing to do. That is definitely one of the things that will be a resource that you should use. Those are just ways of getting your music to people, to kind of give them some time to review it and give you some content of maybe a podcast or, something that you can promote your music with before it comes out. So then when the music comes out, you can be like, hey, these people heard it. Here's the review that they did of this music. Here's us talking about the music that just came out today. And all of a sudden you're going to create interest and people are going to want to go listen to it. It's been fun. And we got through a good bit of music today. And tried to give some good feedback and some good tips. Hopefully everybody learned a little something. And maybe you I think Connor found a couple of new bands that are now his favorite bands. Hope everybody was able to hear some new music that they really like. So as always, if you heard anything that you really like, make sure to go follow everybody. Let's continue to build this community of support. And if you like what you hear, make sure that you're letting them know and you're supporting them in some way. Always happy to have y'all come by and hang out, those of you that do. And I will we may be doing this again tomorrow. I don't know. I kind of am ready I think I need to take a little bit of a break. I don't want to get burned out on anything. So we'll see how I'm feeling in the morning. I may do this again tomorrow. So just look out for if I'm live around 2 o'clock, then I'm live around 2 o'clock. But until next time, as always, peace, love, and rock on.